All right, so now we can start using our calculators 100% of the time on all your OTLs, on your goal assessments, on your super goal assessments. You can use it all the time. However, you must remember to bring it. I will not lend out a calculator. I will not lend out a calculator. So please remember to have it in your backpack on math days. I will want to make sure that you write your name on the back of your calculator with a Sharpie. I have some black and a silver Sharpie sitting up on my cart. So please make sure before you leave this room today that you write your name on the back of the calculator. So I have a silver one for the black calculators or a black Sharpie for the other ones. So please make sure you write your name on the calculator. We are also going to program your name into the calculator. So pay careful attention. Please stop and rewind this video as needed to do this correctly. I will be checking on this on Thursday to make sure you have completed this. So please have it finished. All right, so watch here where I am circling on my calculator. So right here, there is a button that says PRGM, and you're going to press that button, and you're going to get this. Okay, the video is going to do something a little weird because I'm going to move it a little bit closer to the television so you can see better. All right, if you are using this calculator and it belonged to someone else before, that means that you might have something here. If you do, that's no big deal. And if you don't, it's no big deal. So we're going to cursor over to new. Here, the circle up here is where your cursor buttons are, up and down, left and right. So if I go over to right, to where it says new, I get the option to create a new program. So I will press enter or 1. And here's where I would title the program. So if this were a game like, you know, Mario Kart or Madden or whatever, this is where you would title the name of the program. You'll notice that the cursor has a blinking A in it. This means that your calculator is currently in alpha lock. So if you would type a 7, you would get an O. If you would type the division, you would get an M. If you would type the minus, you would get a W. So all the letters are in green above the buttons. So when I type these numbers or symbols now, I'm going to get the letters. Here is where I want you to just write the word name, N-A-M-E. So N-A-M-E. So take a second to do that, and then press enter. This is where you would begin to write a program. I am not a programmer. I've never written a program. But what we're going to do here is put our actual name now. Notice that the cursor is now blinking solid, which means that if I type 7, I'm going to get 7. And if I type times, I'm going to get times. So we want to put it back into alpha lock. Look at the green key on your calculator. Above it in blue is A-lock. So that's how we put something, or the calculator, back into alpha lock. Anytime you want to do something in blue, you have to press the blue button first, the second key. It's called a second function of that button. So I'm going to press blue key, green key. And now I have my blinking cursor A, which means that I will get letters. So here's where I want you to type your name, first and last. So let me get mine going, R-O-S-A-N-N-E. E. Now, need a space. The space is the 0. The space button is the 0. So the 0 puts a space between my first and last name. And then my last name. And then enter. If your name is longer than the line, it may wrap around, or you may have to put your first name in one line and your second name in the other line. Remember though, you do need it in alpha lock to do that. So to get it in alpha lock, remember, you're going to go blue key, green key. So take some time to get that done. If you need to rewind or pause the video to do that, take some time to do that. I will move on at this point though, so if you're finished with that, then you can keep listening. To get out of this program, we want to quit. If you look here on your calculator, across the top, next to the blue button, there's the mode button. And above the mode button, it says quit. So remember, to do anything in blue, we got to press the blue button first. So second mode, and that gets us to our home screen. All right, so a couple things about your calculator. Let's talk about mode. So when I press mode, you get something that looks like this. If you have the color calculator, this is what it looks like. If you have the black and white calculator, it's going to look different, but that's okay. It's not a big deal. Don't worry about it. A couple things I want to point out that are the same on both. The part where it says normal here, where my cursor is blinking, is the function that the calculator is in. Excuse me. This is the only function I have ever had my calculator in. I don't use it scientifically or for engineering. So you should never have to change that. The next one is float. That's how the answer is going to be answered if it were a decimal. I want a floating decimal so that it reads my answer accurately. You could change it to 0 or 1 or 2 or 3, etc. decimals should you want to for some other class, a science class, say. Radian and degrees are something you'll switch back and forth between when you do geometry next year. So nothing to worry about for us, we keep it in radians. Function mode is what we're going to do, and the rest of the stuff really doesn't matter. Then we go up to format. If you look up here at the very top under the window, in the right in the middle, above zoom is format. So again, blue function, so second zoom, and I get this. If you have the color calculator, this is what yours looks like. If I have the black and white calculator, it's not quite as many things, and that's okay, remember. I'm really not going to do anything with this, but I want to just point out that if you had a color calculator, you could change the colors of your grids, of your axes, of your background, of your borders. So anything you want to change, you can. I'll let you play with that on your own. But for our sake, it's really just fine. I'm pretty boring, so mine's pretty much simple. All right, so I'm going to quit this again. So I'm going to go second mode to get out of that. Okay, so let's talk about some uses of your calculator with operations. Obviously, you can add, subtract, multiply, and divide, all that you need to do on this calculator. Your calculator is very, very picky about minus and negative. So, let me show you how, if you do it wrong, it helps you find out what you did wrong. So I'm going to purposely do this wrong. So I'm going to go 89 times minus 63. And you'll notice I get an error message. If you get an error message and it gives you a go-to option like this one, number 2 in the menu there is a go-to, use it. It takes you directly to where your error is. So, to do the go-to, I'm just going to press number 2 because it's the second item, it has a number 2 by it. And you can see that my cursor went directly to where I put minus. It's saying this is what is not correct. This is why you're getting an error message. And that's when you should click in that, oh, I put the wrong sign there. I put a minus, but my calculator wants a negative. Under the 3, at the very bottom of your calculator, there's a button that looks like a little parentheses with a minus in it. That's my negative. So I'm just going to type over top negative and then press enter, and it works. So be very careful between minus and negative on your calculator because it's very picky, and it will let you know when it doesn't like it. And typically you're going to get a go-to message. Please use the go-to to find out where your error is. All right, some other calculator buttons that we're going to start using, pretty quickly. We're going to do some other things on it this year, of course, but if you want to square a number, right here there's a button that says x squared. So if I wanted to take 24 to the second power, I can just press that button. And you'll notice that the power shoots up and goes in place where a power should be. So I just press enter, and that's 24 to the second power, 24 squared. If I have a number that is bigger than 2, a power bigger than 2, then I use this button that is above the division key. It looks like a little arrow. It's called a caret, but it looks like a little arrow. So let's just do 4 to the 8th power. So if I go 4, and I press that button, it shoots up and I get a little template. I get a blank box that I can fill in whatever number I want. So I'm just going to press 8. And then you'll get a right cursor. So I cursor right, go back down, and then I press enter. And I get my 65,536. So the key above the division key is a power button, raise to the power button. Okay? So you can use that as a real shortcut instead of going, 8 times 8 times 8 times 8. All right. One of the main functions that you're going to use this for is fractions. Okay? I'm going to stop the video here and make a part 2 because I'm almost at my time limit. So I'm going to stop here and pick this up in video B.